I want to go over some of the questions that we saw on this last assessment. So what I'm going to do is share with you some of the steps that you should have taken to answer these questions. So the first question here says, what is the measure of angle A? And you are supposed to justify your answer. So first thing you should do when you're looking at this picture, or really when you're looking at any picture in math, is try to get as much information as you can based on what the picture gives you. So for example, I see these two arrows at the top and at the bottom. That means that those two line segments are parallel to each other. And then we noticed a similar symbol right here on the other two sides with those arrows. So what that means is that those two line segments are also parallel to each other. That means that we are looking at a parallelogram, okay? So with a parallelogram, we can look at the angles at the inside and we can write down some different things that we notice. So for example, I see here that this angle A is supplementary to the 72 degrees. Remember that supplementary angles are going to have a sum of 180 degrees. So that's how I can solve for angle A. A has to be 180 minus the 72 degrees. So when I do that subtraction, I get 108 degrees. So the measure of angle A is 108 degrees, and I would just justify that by saying it is supplementary to the 72 degree angle. Okay, now whenever I was looking at some of the things that you guys wrote, I saw some of you write 118 degrees. I think you made a simple subtraction error. So just make sure that you're double checking your work and using a calculator just to help you and make sure that you don't make those small mistakes. This is our next question. So on this question, we're solving for the measure of angle B, and we're looking at the same image that we just saw. So it's possible that you've already put together that if this is 108 degrees, then angle B is going to have to be congruent to the 72 degrees, because angle A and angle B are supplementary. So that's one justification that you could use. I could say angle A plus angle B are supplementary angles, and we could even use this angle symbol here. I know that when you're typing in on a Google form, you probably don't know how to add that symbol, but you could type out angle A and angle B are going to be supplementary angles, so they have to add up to 180 degrees. So angle B has to be 72 degrees, okay? And then hopefully similarly, you're also noticing that means that angle A and angle C are going to be congruent. So angle C would be 108 degrees. It doesn't ask that in this question, but just something to make note of. Okay, the last question here. This is the question that I noticed had the most incorrect answers, so please make sure that you're paying attention right now. So I'm going to draw a star here just so that maybe you'll really pay attention to what I'm about to tell you right now. Okay, so it says, Brenda made a mistake when she used the image to find out that x equals 23. What mistake did she make? Okay, so first off, I'm going to write this out in red since it is a mistake question, just so that we can look at it that way. Okay. Majority of you guys probably saw the x minus 9 and the 14. What happens if we say x minus 9 equals 14? Well, if I'm solving, this is a one-step equation. If I'm solving for x, I would add 9 onto both sides. So 9 plus 4, 13, 23. What do we get? X equals 23. Now, this is important. It says that Brenda made a mistake. Based off of the information that we're given, we only know that this is a parallelogram. We don't know the specific type of parallelogram that we're looking at, right? Because we could even more specifically say what type of parallelogram this is. Like we could maybe say it's a rhombus, but we don't have enough information to say that it's a rhombus. So the mistake would be that Brenda assumes that x equals 23. Okay, she could be correct. It could be that x equals 23. The only way that x equals 23 is if all of these sides on the parallelogram are congruent. Now remember, I told you these arrow symbols, those are only the symbols that are indicating that we have parallel line segments, okay? If I were to see that this were actually congruent, I would see a little tally like that, okay, on all of the sides. Then we're looking at a rhombus, because that would mean my 4 sides are congruent. If this parallelogram were a rhombus, then Brenda would be correct in saying that x equals 23. But the mistake is that she's making an assumption, okay? We don't have these tally marks, the green one, the blue ones that I just wrote down. We don't have that in the picture, so we can't definitively say that we're looking at a rhombus, okay? Because it could be possible. What if this side was congruent to this side? Okay, so if I see 2 tally marks on top and 2 tally marks on bottom, then those sides are congruent. But since I only see 1 on the left side and 1 on the right side, then those sides are the same side. For example, the way that I have this drawn out, I would say that this side, since that's 14, then this is 14. And since the other side is x equals 9, then this side is, or sorry, not x equals 9, x minus 9, then that side is x minus 9. Okay? I hope that that was helpful.